Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty fun stuff to go and talk about in regards now to the PlayStation 5 Pro, the Switch 2, some big major events that are coming up throughout the next week or so, and as well even some more expected release dates, production dates, and everything else. We're going to kind of just be yapping over here and talk about some stuff, because apparently the big news is the Switch 2 is most likely in production and has been in production for quite some time, as well same with the PlayStation 5 Pro 2 as well. So we're basically kind of seeing all these big next gen or mid gen or regen or whatever weird generation you want to go call it, because it's been a really strange console generation either way, and it seems like they might even be balancing out between each other. Basically having the PS5 Pro get announced, then having the Switch 2 to compete with it kind of makes sense. So we have a lot of things to go talk about, so let's go and talk about it. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, leave a like on the video itself, and your thoughts and comments down below. We're going to be playing a bunch of WoW if you guys are really bored and want to hang out on Twitch, a little bit of a comfy stream today, and of course follow on Twitter. Let's dive on into it. So first and foremost, let's go talk about the PlayStation State of Play. And then we'll talk about some Switch 2 stuff. First of all, for all my PlayStation users over here, there is a PlayStation State of Play most likely coming for later on this next month. So we had some rumors, and I made a video on it even earlier on, I believe today, talking about the expected post, later on PS5 release date. We were expecting like a September launch. We were talking about the Tokyo Game Show, which is later on in September. So maybe assuming it's going to be around then. But apparently, there also is now going to be a brand new State of Play. Now, we don't necessarily know if they will announce a PS5 Pro during this, but it would correspond with all the other various leaks. A lot of people also, once again, confirming that the PS5 Pro is that there is probably going to be a State of Play by the end of this September. And as well, they're most likely assuming there will be something to do with the PS5 Pro, followed by a miniature games showcase on the new console. So think about the idea of, hey, here's our brand new console, here's going to be brand new specs, and then here's a bunch of reasons to go and buy it. Some people have been assuming either from the Tokyo Game Show, which I was doing, which was on September 26th, but as well, if they want to have their own individualized state of games, they can basically have that themselves, kind of control it, release it, delay it a little bit if they needed to. And at the end of the day, why would they really want to go and promote their console at a separate game show when they can just do it on their own official platform, get more viewers, get more subscribers, and kind of control it in the way that they want to? So either way, that's kind of a big news that we will most likely have a brand new State of Play coming. I think we kind of need this because this whole year has been very dry for PlayStation games. But one of the bigger things out here, though, is PlayStation is not the only console in the market or Nintendo Direct. So one big thing and two big things. We are now apparently having a really big PlayStation Nintendo Direct tomorrow. Now, it's most likely not going to have the Switch 2 there. A lot of people are assuming it won't, and it kind of makes sense. They're going to have the partner showcase in more of an indie world. So this isn't really like a PlayStation Direct directly. It's more of like a, hey, here's a bunch of really cool indie games we want you guys to play. And here's a bunch of like our big AAA partners that we want to go and we'll do stuff with. So think more of like a Square Enix type style games or Capcom type style games where they're not the biggest games out there. Like we're not seeing like a brand new Zelda game, Mario game, whatever, but we are still seeing games out there. So like bigger games too. But it's kind of intriguing because they're actually combining both of these events. Now, sadly, there was a little bit of a rumor that the Switch 2 might be launching with it, but it actually, I think, goes a bit deeper. Apparently, a lot of people now are assuming the very next Switch announcement will be at the next Nintendo Direct. So assuming they'll have this one, kind of have like a filler. Once again, you have all the indie games, you have the smaller games, you have your partners, and then you kind of save some big announcements to be like, hey, yo, we're actually Nintendo. Kind of the same thing that we just said with the PlayStation 5. We're going to go make a Switch 2. What's the reason to buy a Switch 2? Well, here's a massive list of all of our games that are coming out for it. Here's a brand new Zelda game. Here's maybe Metroid Prime 4 on way better graphics running on the Switch 2 as like a big incentivization to go and buy it. And in theory, even back in like the GameCube days, Metroid Prime's graphics were insane. And in all honesty, probably a good showcase of the console itself. Same with like Super Mario Sunshine. So in theory, they can wait a little bit longer and then announce a Switch 2. But this, of course, can go and kind of like help out with Twitter. Because if you go on Twitter itself, and thankfully no one's really yelling at people or yapping at folks, right now Twitter has actually had the Switch 2 trending for quite some time. Where a lot of people are like, is it, if it gets announced tomorrow, I'm going to give everyone who likes this tweet like $100. People are like, the Switch 2 is just waiting in their basements over here, dude. And then a lot of people are still assuming there will most likely not be a Switch 2, although this is just making a meme on Donald Trump, but a lot of people are kind of waiting for it. I still think in the same boat, realistically, that the PS5 Pro will be announced probably maybe even slightly earlier than the Switch. I mean, it kind of just depends on when the companies want to do it, but I do think the Switch 2 is meant to be a competitor with the PS5 Pro, which you may think that's a little bit on the weird side, and I do agree, but they're both being made and mass produced, and that's the biggest thing right now. We have had multiple different companies on both of these products confirm that they're in mass production, that they're being made, that the chips for them, like the GPUs and CPUs and stuff like that, are being made, that they've already been in production. We've heard many different reports that the Switch 2 is already being stockpiled and made. Same with the PS5 Pro. And it would make a lot of sense because imagine on how much of a horrendous time all the restockings were back a few years ago, like 2-3 years ago. It was horrible. No one had a console. People were complaining. And the bigger thing is shareholders were not happy. Let's say you're Nintendo and you have a Switch 2 and a lot of people want to buy it. We only made 5 million of it. But the demand for that, 10 million. In theory, shareholders are losing money because they're not selling as much as they could, which also means there's less software sales. It's like a big trifecta. So at the end of the day, it is crazy to go and see. So there is a lot of rumors. And my idea behind this is they're just trying to get all these showcases all done. They want to get the indie showcases all good and go from there. But we've seen other various leaks too, like some of the bigger Brazilian Nintendo leakers that have even said that they were actually pushing presentations up, which once again, it makes a lot of sense for them to compete with the PS5 Pro. Xbox has their weird refresher, like the white Xbox 2 terabyte hard drive, but it's kind of, no offense to Xbox users, not really relevant too much in the current moment. PS5 Pro will be better graphics, better games, GTA 6, Monster Hunter, whatever. That's going to be a big deal, at least in my opinion. Now the Switch 2 as well, finally having slightly better specs, might even get things like Call of Duty on the platform, which I don't think many people are buying a Switch for Call of Duty, but it kind of makes sense. So some of the rumors are that these upcoming Nintendo Directs as of tomorrow were actually pushed up from September to more so maybe open up the window to kind of like start talking about the Switch 2. Like it could be maybe teased out tomorrow, but I think most likely this is like them trying to get all their things, I was going to say affairs, but maybe it is affairs in order to go make sure that the next big focus for them is all gung-ho onto the Switch 2. And then it seems kind of smart to me because they had all these other various things. We had like these indie directs, these indie worlds, and a lot of people are assuming the Switch 2 next month. So very intriguing to go and see this because a lot of people are hyped up for this. A lot of people are waiting for this. And at the end of the day, people are kind of curious of like what's going to even be announced to as well. It's also even coming from people, from even leakers basically saying we're going to see a lot of Nintendo coverage too. No one fully knows if this will be linked to the Switch 2 itself or not, but at least people are calling out the fact that the Nintendo Direct is and has been coming out for quite some time. So we're going to have to see. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that there is going to be, random waifu, do you guys think there is going to be a Switch 2? Because I think tomorrow, I don't think it's going to be announced. I mean, just kind of like feeling like the waters or whatever. I could see the PS5 Pro being announced end of September, either at the Tokyo Game Show or at the State of Play. Maybe not released then, but like announced. And then I can maybe see this Nintendo Direct getting all done, all sorted. And then on the next maybe big major Direct, that's a pure Nintendo Direct. We're talking pure Nintendo games. That's when they either end the Nintendo Direct with it or start off with a bang and then using that same like, hey, look at our brand new console. Here is all these crazy new games you can buy. I think for both ends, that makes sense. Because a lot of us are kind of like, why do we want to buy a Switch 2? It's less specs than a PlayStation, less specs than a PC. So let's just get one of those instead. Well, here's Mario, here's Zelda, here's Metroid. Buy it instead. Would maybe make sense. Why would I want to buy a PS5 Pro? Well, look at Monster Hunter Wilds. Let's go look at GTA 6. Let's go look at maybe Call of Duty and better graphics. Let's go look at blah, 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 blah. And that would also go and incentivize people to maybe go make that big, massive leap. Same with updates on, like, say, Spider-Man or God of War or all those other various games, which I do think at the end of the day are big selling points. So it's intriguing because both right now, these are being made. Switch 2 being made, PS5 Pro being made, at least from what we've seen in terms of leaks and rumors and information and everything else with it. So I'm a little bit excited for it nonetheless. So what do you guys go and think? A lot of people are assuming no. A lot of people are still being happy with their old Switches apparently too as well. But like, yeah, I'm very intrigued to see what's end up going, mainly because we've just seen so much gaming news regardless, and I'm just excited for new consoles. Like for me, I think it's a more fun, fresh breath of air. So if you guys are bored, subscribe, leave a like, give me your thoughts and everything down below. Give me some good yapping. We will be live up on Twitch playing some War of the Warcraft, my first ever expansion launch, super comfy stream. I just appreciate y'all so much for watching in the first place. Love you guys.